Hi guys, how are you this gorgeous day? I am joining you here from Sunshine Beach on the Sunshine Coast, and it's newsletter day, of course, because here I am. You'll have to excuse my face today because I am facial fresh. I've gone and had a beautiful, lovely facial this morning with my lady at Bare Skin Online, best beauty therapist ever. She's just a treasure. So I highly recommend her if you're local. Anywho, on with today's topic, guys. I want to talk to you about clean eating. Clean eating is such a catchphrase these days, and you know that I am not a fan at all of fads. I am not one to jump on any type of fad bandwagon or start adopting the latest craze or fashion, if you like, in terms of health or fitness. The reason, though, why I want to talk to you about clean eating is because it sort of occurred to me probably about 2 years ago when people started talking about clean eating, and I was looking into it, and I'm like, what is all this clean eating stuff, and what's this about, and what's this newest, latest fad? And when I looked into it, I sort of realized that I guess very much so what clean eating is about was where I've sort of evolved myself to naturally over time, of improving my health and my fitness and nutrition. So essentially what I discovered was that I was clean eating. So I was like, oh, there you go. And the thing is that it is, if you go about it the right way, it's a fantastic way to eat that can completely be a lifestyle. So I just wanted to discuss a few of the main principles of, exactly what is clean eating and how can you start to implement those types of ideas into your lifestyle so that gradually over time it becomes a way of life and not just a fad or something fashionable to do because everyone else is doing it at the moment. So what is clean eating? Clean eating, essentially, in my definition of this, and everyone will have their own definition, but clean eating to me is about going back to basics. It's about keeping food really simple, really clean, like your grandma used to cook and prepare food. It was like, what were the raw, staple, basic ingredients that we had access to create food with? So if you look at what those things are, you go back to things like fruits, vegetables, lean meats, seafood, poultry, beans, like legumes, I guess, lentils, beans, chickpeas, all those all those sorts of things. Nuts and seeds, if you're into dairy. And if you're into breads and pastas and those sorts of things, they were pretty basic. You'd get your basic bread that didn't have 5,000 ingredients. It basically contained flour, water, and maybe some salt and raising agents and so forth, but not a list a mile long. Same with pasta. Pasta was, sort of more homemade style, and food was just a lot more simple. So when we look at clean eating, essentially that's what it's about. It's about minimizing the number of ingredients in what you're consuming, and as much as possible using single ingredient foods in your meals and in your food preparation. So for example, clean cooking would involve the least amount of jars, sauces, pre-packaged items as possible, and would include as many whole food items as possible. So as many fruits and vegetables and beans and meats and nuts and seeds as possible. That's essentially what clean eating is. It's getting rid of as much as possible the preservatives, the fillers. A lot of manufacturers these days, in order to make more money, because they're in the game obviously of business, what they can do sometimes is take out some of the good quality of a food, the ingredient, the quality ingredient, and fill it up as such with a filler, and that usually will be a wheat derived ingredient, which is why we have so much more gluten and wheat in our food supply, which is why people tend to have reactions to wheat and gluten, because there's just too much in the food system. So when you start to clean up what you're eating and go back to basic ingredients, you automatically reduce a lot of the foods that are causing problems for us today, namely things like excess wheat, gluten, preservatives, fillers, salt, sugar, fats, and when I say fats, I'm talking processed, fats that aren't good for us, fats that aren't found naturally in whole food form, because fats that are found in whole food form are fantastic for us, and we definitely need more of those. Eating clean is about knowing what you're eating and where it's coming from, and as much as possible working on the quality of that. So, for example, to start basic, what might be a great idea is to say, I'm going to go a couple of weeks without any packaged foods and see how you go. And you'll find that you'll start to come up against, oh, well, what do I use for this, or what do I use for that? And you start to become innovative. And of course, there are packaged foods that we all use as clean eaters. Some of my packaged foods that I will use would be jarred tomato sauces, but plain tomatoes. So the ingredients are tomatoes. It's not like tomatoes and this and this and this and this and that. So to clean that up, it's just plain tomatoes, and I'll use that in my curries, or to make a salsa as a sauce, things like that. I'll use balsamic vinegar. Sometimes I'll also use the bottled lemon and lime juices, because they're not always in abundant supply. Fresh lemons, fresh limes. At the moment, there's an abundance of lemons at the farmers market, so I'm happy and not having to use the bottled product, which is wonderful. Other packaged foods might be tinned fish, for example, or tinned beans, or so there are some foods that we will use. It's not about being extreme and never ever touching anything out of a packet. It's about looking at what is in those packaged foods, and as much as possible cleaning that up. So let's try and get foods that have at least less than 5 ingredients, and then less than 3. And it's not about being pedantic either. It's just about individually assessing the foods that you're eating and understanding, well, what's in it? What's that doing in my body? Is that going to give me a good feeling afterwards, or is it going to leave me feeling dirty? And essentially, clean eating is about when you've finished eating, you do feel clean. My partner and I had a discussion the other night. He made himself a massive fried seafood platter, and he commented afterwards how heavy he felt. Whilst he enjoyed it while he was eating, he felt very heavy afterwards. And so that is how you know when you're eating clean versus not eating clean, is essentially how you feel afterwards. Do you feel heavy and tired and like you need a siesta to digest that food, or are you feeling light, clean, and energetic? And when you're eating clean, I promise you, most of the time you will feel light, clean, and energetic. And it does. It changes your life. It changes your mood. It changes your passion for life. It changes your energy levels, your immunity, your skin, everything. So clean eating, I will tell you from my heart, it's not a fad. It's one bandwagon that I'm really happy to support. I'm not jumping on it because I was the first one on it. No, I'm joking. But it was just where I evolved naturally over the years of just cleaning up my diet. So if you have any questions about clean eating, please send them in. I'm here all the time for any questions that you might have, and I love to hear from you, as always. Just to add to the clean eating, it also applies to drinks. So you want to clean up your drinks as well. Of course, the cleanest drink we can have is nice fresh water. We can add some lemon juice to that if we like. And at the moment, I'm just a big fan of lemon juice and stevia in my water. It helps me feel hydrated. I feel very hydrated drinking that. And if you are a coffee drinker, clean up your coffee as much as you can. Get rid of the extra syrups, get rid of the sugars, and keep it simple to coffee. And if you're a milk person, that's fine. Have your milk, but just coffee and milk, and that's clean. Okay. So as I said, I'm here if you have any questions, and I do love to hear from you. And have fun cleaning up your diet, and just choose 1 or 2 simple things to focus on for the first week, and then try to add something to that the second week. And if you feel good on that and that's successful, just keep adding to it gradually, one thing at a time, and that is how you will change your life. All the small things add up and create big things. From little things, big things grow. And that's really exciting. So don't overwhelm yourself. Keep it simple and keep it clean. Lots of love, guys. Bye.